Welcome! So, if you've ever wondered if someone is sexually attracted to you, here's one thing they're guaranteed to do to show they're really interested in that moment. They provide consent. Consent is when someone voluntarily agrees to have a sexual interaction with you. And the key word here is voluntarily. So that means if someone is asleep or otherwise unconscious, they cannot provide consent. If they're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, then they're not in their regular state of mind and cannot provide consent either. If you're experiencing any resistance or apprehension whatsoever from someone during an intimate encounter, such as if they're trying to move away from you, then that's a sign to stop and take a step back. And of course, if someone simply says no or stop, then those are pretty clear signals that they do not like what's happening and you should not continue. But even when the other person may not be resisting, and in fact agrees and says yes to the intimate encounter, it does not mean they are providing consent voluntarily and by their own free will when they feel frightened, fearful, or intimidated. There is also no consent when someone forces or pressures the other person into a sexual interaction. That means that any aggressive or threatening behaviors, whether it be physical or verbal, do not count as consent and are in fact against the law. Another factor to consider is age. Do you know the age of consent for sexual contact in your jurisdiction? If not, you may want to look it up, because minors cannot consent to sexual encounters with adults, regardless of if the minor agrees to do so. Anyone who may be considered a vulnerable individual, such as someone who appears mentally younger than their actual age, or has some type of disability, may be incapable of providing their consent. And anyone who abuses their position of trust or power, such as a boss to a worker, a teacher to a student, or any other position of authority, is not obtaining actual consent from the other person, as that individual might feel pressured to agree because they fear some sort of repercussion from that authority figure if they don't. Healthy and appropriate and lawful sexual encounters involve developing positive interactions with the other person and assessing their level of comfort each step along the way. By increasing open communication, you'll have a better understanding whether or not they genuinely want more intimacy with you at that time and are comfortable being near you. Another important thing to know is that consent can change at any time and is not a permanent agreement that's set in stone. Just like if you were making plans to go out for pizza this weekend, but later changed your mind and got tacos instead. That's allowed. People have the right to change their mind, and sexual encounters are just the same. If someone agrees to have a sexual encounter with you in one instance, that doesn't mean that person always wants to have a sexual encounter with you every single time you're around each other. Additionally, even if you're in the middle of the intimate act, and one person changes their mind in the moment, then that immediately means there is no longer consent. Proceeding any further might then be considered a sexual assault. In addition, it can potentially lead the survivor of the assault to experience significant emotional trauma afterwards, even long after the unwanted event has occurred. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're doing something to force or pressure someone into a sexual encounter against their will, take a moment to consider why you feel that's needed. If someone was truly comfortable with you and interested in having a sexual encounter at the time, then you wouldn't even need to do any of those things in the first place, right? Also consider what your own personal values are. In other words, whenever you're standing in front of a mirror and see yourself, what type of person do you view yourself as? Is it someone who exhibits appropriate boundaries with others and always shows respect to the person you're with to ensure they're comfortable around you? Hopefully so, and that you're consistently being the best version of yourself. For those of you who think it would be better if people had more knowledge about consent and proper boundaries, please press the like button. Each like will help YouTube bring more attention to this video and provide knowledge about this topic to others, as there are many people out there who can surely benefit from it. That's all for now. If you're interested in seeing future videos, then please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!